You ready? Because I'm diving into insights from several top XRP chart analysts in this sizzling update. One analyst predicts an upcoming XRP supply shock as tokens continue flowing off exchanges. Now, imagine what happens if overall crypto demand spikes. Less XRP will be available for purchase, and you know what that could mean. On top of that, let's talk about the panic we've seen over the past month across traditional finance in crypto. Spoiler alert, panicking hasn't worked out too well for those who gave into it, especially when we look at today's action. I'll kick things off with a quick example of what unfolded this morning, but first, let me clarify. I'm not a financial expert. Let's dive in. I'm not a financial advisor, so don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say or write. Seriously, I'm just a crypto enthusiast who loves making YouTube videos as a fun hobby. Anyway, as I hit record right now, it's 8:02 p.m. Central Time, Wednesday, April 30, 2025. It's the last day of the month, and markets, at least for charting purposes, officially wrapped up about an hour ago at 7 p.m. Central. So here we are at what some people are calling the end of the world, but honestly, things aren't looking too bad. XRP is holding steady at $2.19, and Bitcoin, a casual $94,436.00. Not bad for Doomsday, huh? Let's take a look at what happened this morning. Here's a 24-hour chart for XRP. The price plunged all the way down to $2.13. Bitcoin, same situation, crashing down to $93,130.00. The entire crypto market took a nosedive only to bounce back to where it started before the drop. So what caused this sudden dip? Let me show you. Here's the headline from CNBC and tweet. U.S. economy shrank 0.3% in the first quarter as Trump policy uncertainty weighed on businesses. Naturally, risk on assets like stocks and crypto felt the impact, taking a hit earlier in the day. But by the afternoon, crisis averted, it barely mattered. What really boggles my mind is when people see news like this, panic because others are selling, and think, yeah, I'm going to do that too. Honestly, it's absurd. I've been holding XRP for over 7 years now. This isn't my first rodeo. I've never sold a single XRP in my life. Never, not once. So this idea that some people see a headline or some bad news and suddenly decide to dump something valuable to them just because is honestly hilarious to me. Here's the real takeaway. Diversify your holdings, play the long game, and don't let the noise get to you. If you're feeling emotional about market swings, just know that's exactly how the average retail trader reacts. And maybe, just maybe, you should do the opposite. Now, I'm not saying I know what's right for you personally, because I don't, but life happens. You might need to sell because of an emergency, and that's fair. But selling purely because of bad news and a gut reaction, that's a trap, my friend. Don't fall for it. No, seriously, get out of here with that mindset. People like that chasing quick wins without a plan are doomed to fail at investing in general. But in crypto, forget it. They'll get absolutely wrecked. Crypto is the most volatile asset class humanity has ever seen. And honestly, for those who aren't prepared, especially those struggling financially, the odds of success are next to zero. Not a chance. Unless they change their approach, they're going to lose, plain and simple. It's frustrating because there's so much opportunity in this space. All it takes is some conviction and the patience to hold on. To really hammer this home, let's look at a point made by Anthony Pompliano, the well-known Bitcoin maximalist with 1.7 million followers. He called out all the fear, uncertainty, and doomsday talk over the past month, pointing out that the S&P 500 was essentially flat during that time. His advice? Block out the noise. He's right 100%, but technically the S&P was down slightly, barely. But his point stands. Even if it's technically down by less than 1%, it's barely a blip. Not every index is even in the red. Take this for example. The NASDAQ 100 ended April up more than 1%, yet people are still screaming about another Great Depression. Absolutely wild, right? It's funny how emotions can twist our perspective, making us say the most ridiculous things. But honestly, there are so many reasons to stay optimistic right now. The stars are aligning, folks. Check out this post from chart analyst Jelly. Global liquidity leads and Bitcoin follows. Governments are injecting cash back into their economies. It's just a matter of time before that wave lifts Bitcoin higher. This isn't me saying it's the ultimate metric. No metric ever is. But this one, it's a big deal. And I'll keep hammering this point for you. Trust me, more and more reputable voices are beginning to agree. This really does matter. When liquidity increases, basically when businesses and individuals have more money at their disposal, they have to decide where to put it. That money doesn't just sit around. So where does it go? A chunk of it flows into risk on assets like stocks, cryptocurrencies, and yes, XRP. Global liquidity acts like a guiding force for these markets. Take a look at global liquidity trends, track where it's heading, and then factor in the lead time. The correlation becomes pretty clear. That's exactly what's being shown here. So what happens next? Well, nothing is ever guaranteed. History suggests the pattern holds most of the time. And if the trend continues, you guessed it, number go up. That's right. Number go up, my friends. Chart analyst Ali Martinez has shared an intriguing update. Bitcoin's accumulation trend score is edging closer to 1. What does this mean? Larger entities or a big chunk of the network are actively buying up Bitcoin. No surprise there, right? I've been pointing this out all month. April has been drenched in fear thanks to all the tariff drama. But let's be real. The tariff issue isn't a forever problem. It's temporary. Sure, we don't know exactly how or when it'll resolve, but let's not kid ourselves. It's not sticking around. So what's been happening in the meantime? Retail speculators, spooked by all the noise, have been selling off. And the smart money, the heavy hitters, the wealthy, the big businesses, they've been quietly scooping it all up. Plenty of metrics back this up, and I've been calling it out repeatedly. It's clear as day. It's not just Bitcoin making waves. Let me point out something interesting. There were key weeks in April where institutional investments in XRP absolutely skyrocketed off the charts. And here's the kicker. It happened while other coins were struggling. Clear signs of strength for XRP, wouldn't you agree? Now check this out. A post from chart analyst Mustache. He's looking at the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, aka the total 3 chart. His take: the dips will be short and the upside potential is massive. According to him, we're gearing up for the final big wave of this bull market, one more extreme than anything since 2021. And let's not forget, these seasoned analysts with a couple of cycles under their belt tend to know what they're talking about. They're not worried about whether a final surge to the upside is coming. They've seen this story play out before. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it sure does rhyme, doesn't it? So what's the most likely scenario? I'm with them on this one. While I can't say for certain, the odds strongly suggest we're heading for that classic blow off top. After all, history has a habit of following familiar patterns. Let's talk about XRP. It's been held back for so long by all that government drama, which is finally behind us. If a big move is coming, XRP is poised to be one of the biggest winners. Just take a look at this headline from the Daily Hodl. Big news for Bitcoin and the crypto world. Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, and UBS are set to roll out Bitcoin ETF services by year's end, according to Bitwise CEO Matt Hogan. And while I'm not a huge Bitcoin fan, I'm way more into alts, especially the ones I hold. The implications for XRP are massive. Let me break it down. Bitwise's chief investment officer predicts that by the end of 2025, major financial institutions will fully embrace Bitcoin exchange traded funds. And honestly, this shouldn't shock anyone. The war on crypto is over. The big banks are diving in because, let's face it, why wouldn't they? The opportunity is too good to pass up. The water's warm, folks. After 16 years, crypto has proven it's not a fad. It's here to stay. The utility is real, the growth undeniable, and the potential unstoppable. Business models are evolving in ways we couldn't imagine before. Sure, you can debate endlessly about which cryptocurrencies will dominate long term. That's always a lively discussion, but whether you're betting on the right coins or the wrong ones, one thing is clear. The asset class itself isn't going anywhere. Big players are diving in, and we're watching the lines between traditional finance and crypto blur more and more. At some point, the question becomes, what even qualifies as a crypto company anymore? The boundaries are fading fast, and we're headed for a future of seamless integration. And it's not just one-sided. Crypto companies are stepping into traditional finance too. Remember when Coinbase announced plans to pursue a bank charter? The crossover is undeniable. Both worlds are merging, and what we're really witnessing is the birth of something entirely new. The idea that this wouldn't happen, come on, it was bound to. But let me tell you, my excitement here isn't really about Bitcoin itself. Let me explain. Bitwise CEO Matt Hogan just shared an intriguing update in a note to investors. He predicts that by the end of the year, the 4 largest wirehouses, Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo, and UBS, will start giving their clients access to Bitcoin ETFs. Together, these giants oversee over $10 trillion, 0 cents, in assets. Hogan said, I suspect all 4 wirehouses will be open for business on Bitcoin ETFs by the end of the year. And honestly, this could be a game changer. Hogan even expects Bitcoin ETFs to break records for net inflows this year, despite only pulling in $3,700,000,000, 0 cents so far in 2025, a far cry from the $35 billion, 0 cents in 2024. But here's what really excites me. This is yet another sign of the unstoppable rise of crypto adoption. It's proof that what seemed like a distant dream just a few years ago, back when I jumped into crypto in 2017, is now becoming reality. What once felt far-fetched is now knocking on the door. And that's why this matters. I think that might be a clearer way to express what I'm really trying to say. Honestly, I've always believed this kind of thing was inevitable. It's just how technology evolves over time. It gets adopted and people start to realize, oh yeah, this actually makes sense. It's exactly where we're heading now, bit by bit, year by year. What excites me most, though, is seeing major players embrace Bitcoin. You know what that means, right? It's only a matter of time before we see XRP ETFs popping up everywhere. Tons of firms will jump in, launching their own XRP ETFs. But here's the really exciting part. Soon, we'll see ETFs that bundle multiple cryptocurrencies together. Imagine investment baskets stacked with all your favorites. Imagine an ETF that bundles top cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP into one simple investment. By buying the ETF, you'd instantly gain exposure to multiple digital assets without the hassle of diving into individual research. XRP, as one of the standout early leaders in the crypto space, is bound to feature prominently in many of these baskets. It's a large cap coin, after all. This means money will flow into XRP automatically, whether or not investors know much about it. They just want broad exposure to crypto, and the ETF provides exactly that. It's a game changer, and honestly, it's a smart strategy. It's the same idea behind the S&P 500. Buy one product and you're investing in the 500 biggest public companies in the US. Effortless diversification, maximum impact. That same approach is coming to crypto, and XRP is sure to be right at the heart of it. It's exciting to think how this will shape the future of investing. This is exactly why I keep emphasizing the potential of XRP. To clarify, the firms offering ETFs will need to actually purchase XRP, directly impacting its supply and demand. That's a game changer. And honestly, this excites me. Bitcoin, sure, it's already had its moment. Maybe one day it hits $1 million, who knows? But in terms of life-changing opportunities within a realistic time frame, there's still massive potential in other coins, even major ones like XRP. Think about it, a 10x gain from Bitcoin versus a 10x from XRP. Which do you think is more likely to happen first? From where we stand today, it's no contest. XRP has way more room to grow. And why wouldn't it? To be clear, I'm not predicting exact timelines or naming a specific price, but the potential is staring us in the face. If you had to place a bet, which one would you choose? Personally, I'd go with XRP. Here's why. There's less money involved, making it much easier for a big move to happen. Speaking of XRP, I came across a post from CoinDesk sharing an interesting interview. I haven't watched the full thing yet, just caught a clip, but it's worth mentioning. It's a quote from Dan Tapiero, the founder of 10T Holdings. I'm familiar with his work, and he strikes me as a sharp guy. He's not exactly an XRP advocate, but definitely not a hater either. From what I've observed, he seems pretty neutral, maybe even leaning a bit pro XRP, if you ask me. He's highlighting XRP's resilience and acknowledging its staying power, even admitting his own influence on that. It's clear as day, XRP has an undeniable ability to endure. For anyone who hates XRP, at some point, intellectual honesty demands some introspection. If you think it doesn't add up after over a decade, maybe it's time to ask yourself what you got wrong. If you still believe XRP doesn't make sense, the problem isn't XRP, it's your analysis. So dig deeper. What did you misjudge? Was it bias, misconceptions, maybe even a touch of XRP derangement syndrome? Whatever it was, it's time to take a fresh look. So here's the deal. He talked about how much he respects XRP's resilience and had some really positive things to say about Ripple. He praised Ripple for consistently stepping up as a major cheerleader for the XRP ecosystem. I mean, it makes sense, right? Ripple holds the most XRP, so of course they want it to thrive. It's a no-brainer. But here's where it gets interesting. His firm, 10T Holdings, doesn't actually buy crypto careers. Like, they're not even venture capitalists chasing after the next hot, high-risk startup that could either explode or crash and burn. They've carved out a unique niche instead. 10T Holdings focuses on investing in crypto companies that are more established, firms that seem to have staying power. Think of it as late-stage investing, but late-stage in the context of a still young industry. These aren't risky moonshot bets. They're companies that operate as the backbone of the crypto space, the infrastructure that keeps things running. You'd think Ripple would be a perfect fit for this approach, considering their long track record. But anyway, that's their focus, supporting the companies behind the scenes, not the shiny coins themselves. This guy clearly knows his stuff, and it's refreshing to see someone in his position share positive insights. He gets it. He sees the staying power of XRP. It's an early standout in the crypto space, and you know that. But here's the thing, you're part of a small group that truly understands this. What you've researched, what you know, most people have no clue, but it's real. Check out this post from chart analyst Armin. It caught my attention. He said, XRP has just made its second highest monthly candle close ever. Bullish engulfing confirmed. And then he added, XRP will flip Ethereum. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Isn't it wild? In April, when everything seemed to be falling apart, XRP still managed to lock in its second best monthly close in history. It's seriously impressive. I'll take that win. And here's another take from XRP chart analyst Bob Ye. He said, how anyone can look at XRP's market structure and not be uber bullish is beyond me. This asset is set to soar this year, and one analyst who nailed XRP's breakout earlier this cycle is doubling down on even bigger moves ahead. He's been spot on so far, and now he's calling for double-digit price action this cycle. If it's going to happen, folks, it's likely sooner rather than later. After years of waiting, we might finally be on the brink of the breakthrough we've all been anticipating. I truly believe we're that close. Chart analyst Greg Crypto recently shared a fascinating post with an XRP/USD chart. He highlights an XRP macro channel ranging from $17.00 to $55.00. The thought of XRP hitting $55.00 might sound wild at first, but if there's no time limit, it's not so far-fetched. Even within this cycle, while I'm a bit skeptical, it's not completely out of the question. And hey, I'd love to be proven wrong. Double-digit XRP, absolutely worth discussing. Whatever your target price is, double digits aren't as unrealistic as they might seem. Here's what Greg Crypto had to say about the potential ahead. We're on candle number 5, and if history repeats itself, we could be gearing up for a massive monthly move. Based on the pattern, a $17.00 target is definitely on the table, but let's zoom out. There's a macro channel breakout brewing, and the measured move hints at a potential high of $55.00. Personally, I've got my sights set on $27.00. My plan? Gradual selling as the price climbs. Yep, I'll be scaling out as we rise. It's all about playing it smart. I've mentioned my range before, so I'll skip that here, but one thing's clear, $27.00 seems like the sweet spot. A lot of analysts agree, though some are eyeing the low $30.00 S instead. Credible Crypto predicts XRP could land somewhere between $20.00 and $30.00 this cycle. That sounds plausible, but I'm pretty skeptical about it hitting $55.00 anytime soon. If it does, though, I'll be the loudest cheerleader for everyone cashing out at those heights. Honestly, I'd love to be wrong. I want to see you all rake in a massive windfall. If XRP skyrockets, I'll be rooting for every single one of you. Now let's dive into some insights from chart analyst Steph is Crypto. I've got 2 gems from him to share. The first one highlights his take on XRP. Bottomed out, now send it. He compares where XRP stands now in 2025 to its position in 2017. We've seen this pattern before. After XRP's first big surge in past cycles, it spent about 6 months moving sideways before shooting up like a rocket. Steph's charts make this super clear, which is why I had to feature them here. You take a look at 2025, just imagine it. We're about half a year past that November pump for XRP. Could this be the 3rd time in a row that history repeats itself? Honestly, it's not that far-fetched. There's a lot of overlap in predictions. Plenty of analysts are betting on the not so distant future as the moment when crypto starts heating up again. If XRP follows the same pattern, this would mark the 3rd consecutive market cycle where it pulls off something remarkable. It's intriguing, right? Let's wait and see. I wouldn't be shocked, that's for sure. Here's an interesting nugget from Steph. Is cryptic breaking XRP reserves on Binance hit their lowest point since November. Supply shocked loading. That kind of thing never fails to catch my eye. No single metric tells the whole story, but these are the details that make you think. Plus, with Binance being the world's largest crypto exchange by volume, this data carries weight when people start pulling XRP off exchanges. It's usually a clear signal they're not planning to sell anytime soon. Think about it. If they were gearing up to sell, why bother transferring it off the exchange? with less XRP available in the market, you've got what some call supply shock loading. Now imagine this happening just as demand for crypto XRP included starts to skyrocket. Fewer coins available, rising interest. You can see where this might be heading. Of course, this kind of trend is worth keeping an eye on, especially when it involves a major player like Binance. So what does it all mean? Time will tell, but I'm feeling optimistic. Just remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make any big moves based on what I say. Seriously, that's not a good idea. Do your own research and make smart decisions.